Hey, Tom.
Hello, Patrick.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
So, I'm coming out with a mixtape,
Oh.
a hip hop rap. I guess it would span multiple genres, I guess. But it's a mixtape. And I was hoping to feature you, and I wondered how many bars to put you down for.
Ooh.
Well, let me also say this. The title of my mixtape, it'll be called Steppin' Reckless.
Steppin', like I'm stepping, or step in, like into recklessness.
I love that this is open to interpretation. That's really what I want my art to do for people. But in my mind, it's steppin'.
Oh, okay.
Like stepping, but like with the apostrophe instead of the G.
Ooh, that is some gangster shit, man.
I think that's pretty much how I try to live my life on a day-to-day basis as is.
Okay.
So as far as a debut mixtape goes, I think it's pretty representative of just kind of what I bring to the table, what I put into the world.
Yeah.
I'm bringing this up to you, though. Again, I'm looking to feature other rappers
Okay, you came to the right guy
on
then.
it, and I just a guesstimate, a bars guesstimate that's really all I'm looking for here. It just how many, you could take a minute to think, but just, hard bars too, preferably. Just, I would prefer that you would, like, I don't want you to come on and like not spit, I want you to get into the mindset of stepping recklessly, which is, again, that's the name of the mixtape. And I just curious, friend to friend, just asking.
Okay, so is this a verse or bridge? We looking at backups in a chorus?
Just bars, man.
Just straight bars. Okay, straight bars over time.
Fire bars.
Okay, so bars is the x-axis, time is the y.
I think they come in multiples of 4.
Yeah.
And I know Ludacris once said, bars, hardy hard, tell your mama I'm a ghetto superstar.
Okay.
Again, this is a debut EP, or a debut mixtape, so I think I'm going to do a little bit of learning on the fly, but in the spirit of stepping reckless, I'm not sure there's any other way to do it, to be quite honest.
I'll say, sign me up for 64, but for the radio edit, maybe we'll only air 32.
Dope. Let's start the show.
Is that it?
Yeah, that was pretty much it. It's pretty dry, but I was just thinking about it on the way home on the bus.
I thought there was like going to be a punchline or something.
So how's it going?
It's good, man. I'm just sitting here designing my my shipping container, backyard recording studio / office / like guest house area.
I love it. I love every word that's coming out of your mouth.
I was just figuring out how many kilowatts of solar power can I fit into this thing, and it looks like if I want to have a garden on top of the first story roof, I can only squeeze in about 6 kilowatts. But if I throw some panels down there, I can get about 11. I think Colorado 10 kilowatts is the limit, which is about 40 panels. But then you're losing a rooftop garden / chill spot. So
sure,
I think I might go for less power.
Well, I mean, these are things you have to consider.
I'm actually like drawing it up on graph paper here.
I know.
Oh man.
I realize I'm treating it like it's a bit, but I know you're actually planning a shipping container office / guest house / recording studio for your backyard.
Yeah, someday. I was looking at
You seem in high spirits to be imagining in this way. Have you been getting rest? You've been working like 60 hours a week.
So, yes. If anyone listened to the last episode, which I know quite a few did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Cool. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah. Been pretty short on sleep. But last night, I woke up at 4 this morning for work, and work got canceled on the count of snow that didn't even stick to the ground. So I fell back asleep. I woke up around 11:30. Clocked in about 14 hours of sleep last night, so I'm feeling pretty good right now.
Whoa. No wonder you're feeling all right.
Yeah, no nap necessary this week. It's just
Yeah, I mean, we've been recording later because of my car troubles. Not really troubles, just preventative care. We'll call it that. And when I take the bus home, usually it's only about half an hour later than usual, but midnight here anyway. But
right.
We were going to talk this week about social media.
Yeah.
And we're just going to conquer that topic. And pretty much any hot take we have will be new. And everyone else can, just have to deal with the ramifications of what we're about to lay down.
I will say, if anyone is interested in discussing anything related to this episode or past episodes,
I love where this is headed.
Yeah?
I absolutely, yes.
You
Give it to
can
'em.
you can shove it up your ass.
Morning car radio fart noise insert here.
I
so horny.
I meant to do a really crazy intro for our April Fool's episode and never got around to it. And for that, I apologize.
You can apologize to all these people, and you can apologize to me, Tom, but when are you going to start apologizing to yourself?
Just didn't have the time, man.
It's not your fault, Will.
But for real, you can tweet at us.
Yes, you can use social to discuss our hot takes about social.
On Twitter, at, _Reminiscent FM. You can find us on Facebook as well. We are, I think we're on there as Reminiscent Podcast. Maybe I should probably figure that out. Links in the show notes. You can check those out. www.elemental.fm/reminiscent/21. As this is episode 21.
Just flying by.
Yeah, I know, man. I know. But before we go into the social media stuff, last week I told you that I finished Gilmore Girls, right? And I was a little shaken up about it, a little sad to see them go.
Yeah, you were. I was a little concerned about your well-being.
Well, we rewatched the new series, the 4 episodes, and I'm even sadder than I was before. And then to add to that, I just finished Blue Mountain State for probably the 7th time, and now I'm even more sad about that because there's only 3 seasons.
Blue Mountain State?
Have you ever heard of it?
Is that the one with like the provocative trailer that's popular on Facebook? Where it's like, I want to be a BMer? Or is that Blue Mountain State? Or what did you just say?
Yeah, Blue Mountain State.
It's like a sexy football college type frat show. I haven't heard bad things. I've just never tried it myself.
I think you should watch it. It's like it's based on like the top college football team in the nation, but it's almost like a parody of itself. Like it takes every college and football and dude bro stereotype and just like takes it to the max. And
like American Pie, the college years or something.
But it's a better version of that. Like it's super well done and like very artistically shot for how goofy it is.
Yeah, well, I saw the teaser trailer on Facebook that went viral about a year ago, where there's cheerleaders using shake weights, and the whole joke is like, I want to be a BMer, like a bowel movement, I think is what they meant. I want to go to Blue Mountain State, and there's a lot of weird sex, and there's like this stoner kid who's like, yeah, we have a sister school in Amsterdam, and it's just like,
I don't know if that's the same thing.
Well, now I'm wondering, because this teaser trailer, the content didn't appear to be like Soup's groundbreaking, I guess.
Huh.
But unless it really is clever and just, I don't know. But now you have me quite curious. This is Blue Mountain State is what I'm talking about.
Okay, so I do see Blue Mountain State admissions video. Huh, yeah.
It was a decently funny thing. I just what you're describing sounds very different than what I would expect after watching that video.
Okay, so yeah, this came out in like 2010, which is I think maybe when they were filming it. I don't know. I would recommend it. Let's make that homework for this week. Watch all 3 seasons of Blue Mountain State in 1 week.
My God, dude.
Right?
You say right like I was feeling every bit of that vibe, and I'm just right behind you. I'm like in a pretty comfortable third rewatching of Parks and Rec groove right now.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
I know. I just have a good schedule going.
Okay. Well, please.
In the words of Kendrick, who may or may not be featured on my debut mixtape.
Okay.
Don't kill my vibe.
God. Song's so bad.
Okay, Tom. Jesus.
What is that, your music recommendation for the week?
No.
Okay.
I've only know a few of his songs. I don't even really know why I got so defensive.
Well, the last thing that I want to say before we get into this thing is I've been living a life of luxury most of this week. A 55-inch TV stumbled upon me for the low price of $250, and I snagged that shit up so fast. And man, I did not.
Did you need it though, Tom?
Yes, dude, a 32-inch TV. You think that's no? Get out of here. So
I know I'm no financial advisor, Tom, but did you have a TV before this purchase?
I did. I had a very small old 32-inch TV.
What's the other inch amount?
55.
I'll let our tweeps be the judge of this act. But I gotta say, it sounds rash and irresponsible. But with that said, it sounds like it has a pretty dope picture to it.
It's okay. So here's the thing. $250, right?
It's like 3 weeks worth of food.
Yeah, it's like 1 week worth of food. We just spent that the other day. I know, man. I know, but couldn't pass it up.
Yeah.
It's great. So,
are you allowed to eat peanut butter?
Like right now?
Are you pescatarian right now? I forget.
Pescatarian. You know, I've actually been vegetarian for 150 days.
Ooh,
but,
congratulations.
Thank you. But I'm eating steak on my birthday in about 3 weeks. So.
Dude, you're going to get so sick.
No, dude. Megan was vegetarian for like 4 years and then had a steak one night, and she was just like, whatever. And she is like the most sensitive person to food I've ever seen. So I'm hoping it's all right.
Well, I hope you enjoy it. That's coming up.
April 22nd, Earth Day, is my birthday, and is also going to be the date of a very exciting Elemental FM giveaway.
Is it going to be your old TV?
No, I'm keeping that for the guest room.
Ooh, guest room TV.
Yeah.
That is luxury.
Right?
Now I'm coming over.
You should, man. I mean, my sister's coming this weekend, so you might have to wait.
That's fun.
You can come next weekend, catch the Rookie of the Year show.
Ooh, where you'll be performing.
Yeah, I guess so. I started feeling a little sick today, and I thought that the show was this Sunday, and I thought it was my body just retaliating, like, you're too nervous, don't do it. But yeah, so I saw Rookie of the Year. It was the last week. Been kind of acquaintances, turned friends with the dude a few years ago, and yeah, he hit me up and just told me that I'm going to be singing one of my favorite songs of theirs that I've been listening to for like 11 years. Told me I'm coming on stage and I'm singing with them. And they've been playing sold-out shows to like 400 or 500 people.
That's so crazy.
I know, because 15-year-old
on a national stage, they feel like nobody to me. And that's not a diss. I'm just saying.
Right.
On the scale of Coldplay to, I don't know, our high school band. I feel like they're closer to our high school band.
I don't know. I mean, they toured with Goo Goo Dolls, Reliant K. There were a couple other big bands. They toured with Meat Math. I feel like I said that weird. Mute Math.
Meat Math.
Meat Math. I don't know.
I'm giving them not enough credit. They're a band that exists. Obviously, I just good for them.
Yeah.
I'm only surprised because of how much success they appear to be having.
Yeah, they're doing pretty well, man.
I'm also very excited for them.
Yeah, I'm excited. I mean, they've been one of my favorite bands since like their first record came out, in 2006, and like kind of fucking worship these dudes, and it's weird that I'm just like friends with them now.
The future of yours that never was.
But hey, man, that's the power of social media. That's how I get to know all these people. The person who's doing the giveaway, who we're like partnering with, famous astrobiologist that I just hit up on Twitter one day, and you can get a lot of, yeah, it's definitely opened the world up, and that's what we're going to talk about today.
If this is, oh my God, I was going to say, if this is a segue, Jesus Christ, you're fucking master.
But no, I'm serious. I mean, I've gotten in touch, Mike Rowe, for God's sakes, like, just over social media, like people I have no business communicating with.
Let me just say this. Well, were you? No, I'm going to say it.
Okay.
Before, dear listeners, we are now entering the main topic of this week's episode, social media. Before there was MySpace or anything of that nature, people probably had the thought, wow, wouldn't it be so cool if everybody had a voice? That would be so powerful and so cool, and it is. But now that we live in the era of like the era of post memes and comment section warriors and the trash that goes on in these comment sections, is it possible that giving everybody a voice was a bad idea? Because did we give the general populace too much credit?
Well, the thing that I like about the internet is it seems to be self-selecting, right? I mean, people who have nothing, generally people who don't have anything good to say gets drowned out, right? It's like Reddit, the top voted things get pushed to the front page.
That's true. There is a purity there.
But I understand what you mean. I mean, there's definitely a lot of just absolute bullshit. Everyone feels like, they're like a news anchor or something. And
well, in the era of fake news, and I'm not just there will be memes, political memes that get tossed around. I've never not been able to, sorry for the double negative, I can usually figure out whether or not it's true after 2 Googles without clicking links. You know what I mean?
Right.
And yet these things just spread like wildfire, these niche, interest group pages with, facts or not facts that support this and that.
Alternative facts.
And even, there was a fake People magazine interview where Trump said, I'd run it as a Republican if they'd love me for it, those dumb idiots. By all accounts, it doesn't look like that interview ever happened. Right. And yet, I kept seeing my liberal friends share the hell out of that.
Oh, I know.
During the election. Obviously, there was a lot on the other side as well, but it's just danger, man. Like, can you not Google things twice? Or just click I've seen people post the full text of a story in the comment section. And they were like, thanks, bro. Like, good luck. It's like, I went into the belly of the fucking beast, like, to keep you all from clicking and reading. Here's what I got from it. I don't know. It's just danger. It's weird. Giving everybody a voice and thinking to be... Okay, so Wikipedia is great. There is a sense of purity, like you said. I don't know. Somehow it feels like the evil is outweighing the good in terms of the spreading of information and correct and good. I don't know. Maybe overall I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just in this little microcosm of the fake news world in Trump's America in 2017. But I don't know. Prove me wrong here, Tom. What are you thinking?
Well, I think that especially with all the political stuff, there's just so much bullshit on either side. Like, I see that Trump thing all the time. And the first time I saw it, I so badly wanted it to be true.
Yeah,
but,
dude.
I mean, I Googled it, and in like half a second, I saw like, 20 credible sources that were like, yeah,
well, there's like
this
Snopes, right? You ever hear of that website, Snopes?
Yeah.
They're like the New York Times of internet truth. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they're only out to seek purity and justice. And they're like, nay, very unlikely.
Right.
All you have to do is Google it, and the Snopes thing will pop up. What's wrong with Googling two things? I don't know, man.
Well,
I feel like
people
people don't read. I don't know. I've lost a lot of faith because of the voice internet gives people.
No, I agree. I mean, I think it's just a selection bias with people wanting to serve their agenda, right? People hate Trump, so they
It's
see a
definitely a
thing,
platform for
they
it.
love it, they love that he said this, and they share it without even checking it because they don't
Right.
want it to be
And conversely,
fake.
people that hated Hillary, there was a hell of a lot of rhetoric there as well.
Right. And, there were things like, especially around political season, there were things about Hillary that the right hated, so they blew it up. There's things Trump does that might be seen as similar, like, i.e., uh, personal email servers, right? No one gives a shit about that because they don't want that to be a thing.
Well, they must not. I mean, because Pence did it in Indiana when he was governor, so apparently it's not that unfucking common.
Right. And so it's people serving their agenda, sharing things that fits in with their
So I'll say
view
this.
of the world.
Giving everybody a voice, again, in general, seems like a great idea. And the internet's lovely, and Wikipedia is funny when people do it wrong on purpose right after big things happen.
Right.
But also is very helpful and free. I lost my train of thought. God, I'm sorry.
No, I understand what you mean, but I think obviously there's a lot of good and bad things. I mean, it's like
Oh, this is what I was going to say. For all the voices people are getting, how often do you see just like honest and very tranquil, but like, I guess, when has there been a good engagement and debate? To me it seems like it's all shit posting and memes, and only the biggest thing I hate is when people complain about the media when they're the ones that pick who to follow on Twitter,
Right.
and who is and is not appearing in their timeline.
Right.
It's like you've selected the bubble that you wanted to create for yourself.
Right.
And you're complaining about the media, but have you even read one? And I always come back to this. When was the last time you read an article from the first word to the last word? I can guarantee it hasn't happened in the past 5 years for fucking anyone.
I just actually, you know what? I just read a very long article about
Good. People should read more. There's that John Waters quote, that goofy director with the pencil mustache that was in the Creep video that Lonely Island did for SNL.
Yeah.
His is the best quote ever. It's like, people need to start reading more again. If you go home and nobody has books and that person doesn't have books, don't fuck them and just leave. You know what I mean? It was his like comment about the dating scene. I just thought that was so brilliant. Like, can we just block those who don't try to learn? I don't know. It just, and again, we're just asking for two Googles here, people. Does nobody have a thirst for the actual what the fuck's happening? Like, for the betterment of mankind and to hopefully squeeze as much life this earth can provide? I don't know. People will probably say a statement like that is liberal as but how is wanting everyone to survive for as long as possible in the situation where we have currently leaning in any direction other than,
Right.
I don't know.
Well,
I just don't know.
Yeah, there's so much. I feel like
I'm rambling now, but one more quick thing.
Yeah.
And this is what we do every week. I just interrupt the out of you. But I was at my girlfriend Jesse's in Oklahoma. And, in Ohio, they're looking to frack a few national forests. I don't know if they've already started or not. But they've been fracking in Oklahoma. And her parents, they're just like, yeah, it's not even a debate anymore. It just straight up leads to earthquakes. I'm like, that seems counterproductive. And, they're just now starting to regulate it after these small earthquakes that have been just rocking Oklahoma ever since the fracking started and things like that. And it's just like, is there no fucking, greater being or Lord or guiding light or sense of justice or truth or peace? How can somebody consciously decide to continue? I guess, money is the root of all whatever the but are you kidding me? Just like, it's already proven and it's still happening, like that earthquakes just occur if you drill that far down in that manner. I don't know. It really kind of, well, I'll stop and let you go, but
no, well, you know what? There's a very interesting podcast called Science Versus on the Gimlet media like podcast network. I think their tagline is "We put facts against fiction or facts against opinion" or something. They do an episode on fracking, and it's for the most part they don't seem to have like an agenda. They're not trying to talk you out of fracking or anything, but there's definitely a lot of surprising stuff that goes on with it that you might enjoy. It's definitely an episode that plays out in our viewpoint's favor. But man,
which is what? Protect
which is
the
that
Earth.
it's f***ed up, dude. Like,
how is that a viewpoint, though, is my bigger question. I think the internet has revealed so many twisted viewpoints. Not even viewpoints, just like lack of caring, apathy, I guess. How is wanting to not f*** up the Earth a viewpoint? I know we're off topic already, but...
Okay, without social media, do you think that we would even have a chance of knowing how bad fracking and a bunch of other shit really is? Because the people with the money own
That's
the
true.
news conglomerates that tell you fracking is okay, and that's the only information you get. So I think that's one area where social media...
Wait, what media conglomerates are telling you fracking's okay?
What was God, who's the guy Ted, is it Ted Turner owns? I mean, I don't know if he's says fracking is okay, but like, oh God, there was some oil guy, I think, who owns I keep thinking of Turner, but that might not be right. I mean, either way, the people with the money have the power, right? The wealthiest people in the world are oil tycoons. So,
right, but let me just say this. In terms of the internet and your usage and what you share, let's say you wake up with a lump somewhere. Or either way, you do something that gives you a cancer scare or a WebMD scare, let's call it, which is pretty common, I feel like, in the internet age, right? When, since your first high school research paper that you ever wrote, have you Googled and read as much as when you're scared that you might die that day? You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
I wish there was that amount of vigor and interest in people's everyday wanting to know. I just wish there was a second and third Google before anybody shared anything. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Of course, there's room for my face when I wake up in the middle of the night and I gotta pee. What? GIF. That's what the internet's for. It's funny. It's great.
Right.
But I just mean, people that are trying to, be hashtag woke, if you will. Too woke to be broke. Sup, dog. Steppin' Reckless 2017. No, it's just, I don't know. It's upsetting. It's just can you not just do a second Google? Let's say you do read the Fox article. Well, go read I don't know. What is ABC considered left? I don't know. Maybe it is, but
I don't know.
Then whatever. You know what I mean? It's, they have that graph that's been popular on social media lately where it's, CNN and USA Today are the most simple, basic, just presenter of news possible. And if you just pay attention to the headlines that are in those two websites or social media pages or anything, then you'll have a decent idea, right? They don't really have agendas, but they don't really pretend to be much smarter than people think they are anyway, right? Anyway, we're getting a bit off topic. Just to shift gears here a little bit, how often do you share things on which platforms and why, and what is your intention? Because not everybody has this crazy political thing.
Right.
It is easy to get worked up about Exhibit A, my God.
I've been trying my hardest to not really post too many polarizing topics, mainly political stuff.
But is it like that movie Idiocracy, where
never saw it.
Basically all the stupid people are fucking and having kids more than the smart people who are we want to make sure the nutrition's correct or whatever. And I forget who it was by, but people are calling it the first fictional movie to become a documentary in real time.
Oh God!
Because basically America becomes stupid and elects Terry Crews, who rides a motorcycle with an American flag paint job on it or whatever, and they water the crops with Gatorade instead of water because the electrolytes. And,
Oh, is that where the Trump quote came from?
oh, I don't know, but basically, Idiocracy is Luke Wilson's, like haphazardly becomes president or whatever, and talks to Terry Crews like, no, he's like frozen or some shit. I don't know. He wakes up and he's like, no, you got to put water on the plants, man. He's like the smartest guy alive. Anyway,
I'll have to check it out.
I forget what the we were talking about.
No, so like, yeah, I post.
Oh, this is my point. You said you don't post that much. In the movie Idiocracy, all the smart people don't procreate. Well,
that's true.
Well, that's the point of the movie. That's why people are saying it's becoming a documentary in real time.
Right.
I'm saying all the people that have the desire to Google a second and third time to be sure they're right, posting less. I mean, fucking probably, right?
Probably. Yeah.
How often do you post on Facebook every week?
Facebook is a lot usually. It's not
what kind of content like
right. So it's not so many like status updates or whatever they're called. I don't often post like things I'm doing. It's either ideas based off of an event that happened. So I'll share like SpaceX had a successful launch and first stage landing of a reused rocket booster, which is the first time in history. Kind of freaked out about it. So I'll share that article and have my not my take on it, like just a short little quip like,
sure,
history was made, so happy that I'm alive to, like whatever, something like that. It's never like,
yeah.
I just hate when people use Facebook as went to the mall today, no good sales, bummer, right? Like, okay, like, so not really.
What bugs me a bit is when people. Well, let me preface this with that you and I have both been, I think, pretty much depressed at one point in our lives.
Right.
And I hate when people are like, ooh, Lord, give me strength today. Like, Lord knows it's been rough. Just kind of waiting for anyone to comment and be like, you good,
right,
man? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that happened to someone I knew from my childhood maybe a couple years ago, and I messaged them, and they insisted that they were just messing around or whatever, even though it was a pretty weird, pretty down sounding, but maybe that's just a part of their online persona, I guess, is to be, I don't know.
See, and that's the thing. People, I don't know if you're ready to move on to this hot take here.
Oh, I am ready.
Well,
I need you to lay it down nice and steamy, soft and creamy.
My opinion of, and I've had this conversation with my girlfriend. I remember having it when we were like snowboarding in Vermont one day, about to go to bed. There's a lot of people I'm friends with on Facebook who I have absolutely no idea who they are.
Are you one of those people that goes through and cleans out? Well, I guess that sounds like you're not. I know people that go through and clean out every year the people they don't talk to anymore.
I used to. Back when it was easier to do that. Facebook has made it harder to mass unfriend a bunch of people. And the reason that I don't is because, so I use social media for both personal reasons as well as trying to start up this podcast network, right? Elemental FM.
True.
True. So
follow us on Twitter.
Right. So anything on my personal Facebook is going to sound f***ed up, but I think it's the way that most people think, whether they want to admit it or not. Your personal Facebook page is like your brand, like the brand of you, like who you are. People curate what they put online to show the highlights of whatever they want people to know them as or associate themselves with. So all these people that I don't know, even the people I do know, I see them as potential eyes on things that I want to promote. It's not so much so they know what I had for breakfast that day, which is always Lucky Charms with almond milk and a bagel with cream cheese.
You're a true Wonder Years fan. Don't let anybody tell you differently.
Lucky Charms and soy milk.
I love the live version of that where he's like, I'm not a vegan, I just liked the way it tastes. I just thought that was like, dude, nice. And I feel like a true fan because I've heard both versions and I get you. Right. I don't know. It's just, I was wondering that and I'm glad you addressed it.
Right. But yeah, so I see social media as the Tom Kelly brand, and I try to post
real quick,
things.
How many likes does the Elemental/Reminiscent Facebook pages have?
Under 100. I know that because I haven't been pushing it too hard. Also,
any big names from high school or anything that are following along?
I have no idea.
Okay.
Mostly because, and this is where it gets tough, right? People don't give a about your art or what you're trying to do, which I think is hilarious because just the other day, someone I know in a band that's like, why would you pay $20 for a Kanye CD when you've never even met him, but you won't pay $1 for your friend's bands, whatever? And this
was that Baney?
No.
Well, Baney and Chris Wilmoth started posting stuff like that because they're out in LA trying to do stand-up. For those who don't know who we're talking about and are listening, I will promote a little local art here, or friends of ours. Chris Wilmoth, Jordan Baney. Look them up on Twitter or Facebook. They're out in LA doing the grind. And they post memes like that all the time. And for them, it's become purely self-promotion, which I find interesting. Not annoying enough to unfollow them because I want to see them succeed. But I can see where someone might be like, oh my God, why would I want to see these bar napkins with show dates written on them? Like, I'm not in LA. I'm not going to go see you.
Right.
But I got to respect the hustle to a certain degree.
Right. Well, yeah. So, they're using a platform where almost everyone in the world is on,
Not a bad place.
But yeah, so you see these things like, support your friends, support me because I'm your friend, but then no one supports back. So social media for me is like, it's like a job, even though, which I know for you, it literally is your job, right?
Right. That's why I don't use it that much, to be quite honest.
Right. And that's why I use it all the time.
I rarely post to anything. Well, let me say this. Whenever I try to tweet something, I started to learn that I would play this depressing game where I Google or I search in Twitter kind of the main idea of what I was going for. And I would learn that 3 people already had that joke. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, Twitter kind of started where you would make like progressively weirder hashtags based on the hashtags, but then they kind of got away from that. And GIFs really transformed how the whole thing worked. But it was kind of like when I was a kid and I was in class and the teacher would ask a question and I thought I knew the answer and I was pretty fucking sure, but I didn't raise my hand and I would just wait until someone else tried to either guess incorrectly or correctly. And then once I found out I was correct, I would feel, I would mark it in my notebook and be like, all right, sweet. But there's something about that speaking out or raising the hand that has always, eluded. That's something I've never really been 100% into, I guess, for whatever reason. So I don't really tweet that much because I realize everyone else has had these ideas already.
Right.
I find that bringing a new voice, why the do I even have the account anyway? I mean, I retweet the occasional thing that either my place of work, something I wrote for my place of work or something like that, or something that has to do with the college I went to or my hometown, like Marjorie Diehl Armstrong, one of the co-conspirators of the pizza bomber case.
I saw that,
today, so I retweeted. By the way, you got to read that book.
I do.
Different talk for a different day, maybe. But I post very little. It might be because I do it for a living. It might be because I never raised my hand in class as a kid. I don't know. I just don't feel like I don't know if anybody. If I consider you to be important to me, or you probably have heard it already. I like to text people on their birthday if I can remember it. I like to people to text me, and you've heard me spiel about wanting to get a landline phone and break my cell phone. I don't know. It's starting to drive me crazy, and it's starting to hurt my eyesight, too. I'm wearing sunglasses right now because I hate looking at screens. I do it all day, every day.
Well, I have a plug-in for you that will make your screen less blue. Mine is on right now.
Is it a dream?
I put it in the show last week. It's called Flux. It's like F.lux, lux, like light. And man, my screen is like a very dark orange. It's very very light on the eyes. It's
I'll have to do that at work. I really appreciate that tip.
yeah. I'll put it in the show notes this week. I think they might make one for PC, but man, it is definitely an eye saver because I always have the blind shut in my studio, lights off. I have like some LEDs like backlighting my desk, but other than that, I like it to be really dark, and my screen is always like orange, and it gets progressively oranger as it gets darker outside. It's great.
Right. Nice.
But what was I gonna say? Yeah.
So I was going to say this real quick.
Okay, yeah, do that.
Yes. So, for St. Patrick's Day, if anyone knows me, they know that my name's Patrick Harlan Holmes and that I'm Irish, about 75% Irish, right? Pretty Irish.
Yeah.
Considering, the great American melting pot, I haven't really intermixed too much, my family at least. My mom's 100% Irish, my dad's 50% Irish, something like that. So, I love Rubens on St. Patrick's Day, and St. Patrick's Day is really cool. This last St. Patrick's Day, there's a place called Slyman's in Cleveland, which is a famous deli who's known for putting way too much meat on their sandwiches, and it's their gimmick, right? I didn't even eat there, but because I'm in Cleveland, I looked up for a good cover photo. I find Tim and Eric hilarious when sometimes I think their style of humor can work. And yeah, I've enjoyed it, especially Dr. Steve Brule. I thought it'd be funny to make my cover photo a sandwich with way too much meat, kind of like Nick Kroll and Tim Heidecker, Nick Kroll and John Mulaney when they do Oh Hello on the Kroll Show, which was a show they later did on Broadway. It's just a prank where there's too much tuna. I'm like, why would you order that much tuna? It's too much tuna. And so this picture of this sandwich, I didn't even eat it, and I posted it, and I was like, it's Happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. If you know me, you know I love Rubens. You know I'm in Cleveland now, and this is a Cleveland restaurant with... And granted, I provided none of this context in the post. And the first comment was just like, whoa, heart attack. And you even commented, ew. Right. And I was like, getting fucking crucified for a sandwich I didn't even eat and a joke I couldn't have explained in a million fucking years. I don't even think I'm doing a good job now. So I'm just taking heat, taking bullets to the fucking, like in Apocalypse Now or some just like in a field, just getting lit up in Vietnam or something. And not only didn't I eat the sandwich, I can't explain why I thought it was funny or why I wanted to just have a disgusting looking sandwich as my profile or my cover photo. Anyway, people liked it. I think they got it. Reuben, he's Irish, St. Patrick's Day.
Right,
Who gives a f***? But that's part of the reason why I stopped posting, because no one understands what the f*** I'm trying to say in real life anyway. Why would they understand without context? In college, I was tweeting some crazy shit during a finals week. I used to have these characters that I thought was funny. It was an old Supreme Court justice, was it Sotomayor maybe, and the fictional character Mountain Mama, who's in songs about West Virginia. Anyway, if you mix up the letters in Sotomayor's name, and I made it Mama and Nancy, this like crime fighting duo in southeastern Ohio that would go to the Ridges, which is like the haunted old asylum on campus, and fight like the evil bad guys trying to like the native fruit to Ohio called a pawpaw. They were trying to make these pawpaws come to life and take over the world. It was like this pulp type comic fiction, snackable bullshit. And I would be tweeting about Mama and Nancy kicking ass and taking names, and how Mama sometimes felt self-conscious about her weight, and how Nancy was the smart, quick one, but they both fit together very well and supported each other ultimately. Anyway, somebody actually tweeted back at me and was like, are you trying to mimic the work of this person? And I Googled the person, and it was like a poet who specialized in nonsense writing. Just like this person would try to combine words in a way that no one could glean any meaning out of it whatsoever. And that was that person's art. But I was actually trying to tell a story or like just goof around and be funny. And someone actually thought I was trying to be intentionally nonsensical. So I think those two things, it's just like has been my relationship with social media to a T. And often my interactions with human beings that aren't good friends with me. It's just like a little all over the place. I guess I don't know. But so I guess those are some of the contributing factors. I'm tired of trying to explain myself and,
Well, you know, in true fashion of our discussions, I have an almost opposite experience. Um, what you just described as your social media experience is how I feel like my real life experience is. Like, so I have pretty severe social anxiety that I think is stemmed from social media. Um, I've I've been told in the past that like people like really enjoy me on social media. Like they think
You
I'm
are an Instagram fiend, might I say.
dude, 3 years ago I was bad at it. I mean, multiple a day. I'm slowing down on all accounts. Um,
You're a big sharer, though. You do share frequently.
oh, I'll share.
I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's bad, because, I mean, you've had interesting shit happen to you in the last year.
Right.
And always. I mean, I mean, I feel like your Insta brand is, whoa, look what I got myself into this time, guys. And it's not even a douchey thing. It's just like, wow, Tom's living Tom's best life. Because
So
you've always been kind of an against the grain dude.
right. So but yeah, so here's the thing, like
But is that what you want to portray, man?
no. So on Facebook, you have time to think of funny things and say exactly what you want and go back and revise it before you hit post,
Yeah, you
right?
can edit your fucking comment. You can delete it if you want.
Right. So I try my hardest to be an entertaining guy on Facebook because I like going on Reddit, Facebook, whatever, and just laughing at what people have to say. Um, so I've had people be like, dude, like your Facebook stuff cracks me up. I'm like, oh, that's great, you know. But if I go out in like real life in a real situation, I am like a mute because I have this crippling anxiety of not being entertaining enough when you don't have like the time to figure out what you want to say. And I've had situations where like when I'm in a group of people, I just don't talk like ever because I'm like horrified of it. I don't like. It's funny because I sang in bands and loved being on a stage, but like I remember this one time. It was like 4th of July. I was hanging out with a friend at her friend's house. Didn't know anyone, and at one point, someone was like, "So what are you going to do for the rest of the day, Tom?" And everyone looked at me, and it was like from like a bad romantic comedy where my mouth opened and I just went and like nothing came out. Like
Yeah.
the wheels were spinning, but I was just didn't even know what to say. Like I was just gonna go home. But everyone looked at me
Just get up and walk out of the crowded
and I
room.
panicked, dude. I had a total meltdown. And like after I left, I was like shaking. I was like, oh my God, dude. I just like freaked out. And like that shit happens all the time. Like there's times I don't want to like something sounds fun that I want to do with people and I don't go because I'm afraid of having to like talk to people. And I think I was never really like that before like I really got into social media and stuff. And I love being like it sounds so depressing, but like I love going on Facebook and just like talking to people and getting involved in conversations and stuff, but I will not
Well,
do it in
I'm
real
sure it
life.
helps a lot of people because not everybody likes going to parties. I think people are often nervous. I think I have the opposite thing because I am so unable to convey. You've known me for a while. People find me amusing. You know, not much more, not much less. You know, I made Steve Dobb giggle twice. But if I try to type out what I'm trying, it's often from such an obscure. I don't know. My brain works in I don't know, a way that is perhaps unconventional and certain. Anyway, I can't type out why I thought of the thing I thought of, but sometimes in person, people tend to get at least how I got there, right? Based on
Right.
what was said. Whether it's, I don't know, but something about typing it online. Like before I met Jesse, I tried OkCupid. My sister said, just try it. Who do you think you're better than here? You know, like
Right,
everyone's
right.
doing it. So I did, and other than hello, my name is this. Can I buy you a cup of coffee? Like, what the f*** are you supposed to say? Like, anything creative in that sense sounds creepy to me.
Yeah. Oh
And
yeah.
I'll never forget the first time I was like, hey, can I buy you a drink? I don't know how the f*** this works. You know what I mean? Nor do I really want to. Just because I know I'm not going to be able to be funny without being creepy in a type sense. You know what I mean? Because if you took a... oh, God, this would be a damning exercise. But if you took, like... If there was, like, a court stenographer near me my whole life and you read what I've said over the past 20-some years, you'd be like, you know, like... But in person, it seems okay, I think. I don't know. So I didn't know how to, when I was using that site, to be like, can I just get you in person? I'll make you, you know.
Yeah,
but if I say, even that sentence in typing sounds creepy as shit.
Right.
I just would love to get you in person. I think I'm better in that scenario. You want to grab a cup of coffee. I just need to get you, be near, you know, like, and they're like, this is the worst fake, you know, this is the worst hiding of a kidnapping proposal I've ever seen.
Just let me wear your skin. I promise I'll make you laugh.
Let me be near you and I will talk in your face. Anyway, so the first lady I talked to, I was like, hey, can I get you a drink? I don't know how this works. You're pretty. Can I buy you a drink? I don't know. What the fuck else are you supposed to say? So she was like, no, thank you. I went to the bar that night down the street and she shows up.
No way.
On another internet date, so obviously with a guy, and she sits next to me. I don't know if she realized it, but I'm telling you it was the same girl. And her and this guy are going through the, like, what's your favorite movie, what's your favorite color, where are you from type shit, right? And I just paid my tab and laughed. I couldn't believe it. I was like, first of all, this dude was a fucking squabash. He was just nothing special about him. It was like a baseball thing an old guy I knew once said, if you're a squabash, you're just a scrub at baseball. But
oh my God.
So this dude, not only isn't he super symmetrical face-wise, he was bringing nothing to the table. Like, in terms of bringing the thunder, which is a phrase you know I love, he was bringing, it was clear skies. Man.
Not even a low rumble.
There was no precipitation, no clouds. This dude was as clear as a summer day in terms of there was nothing there. And I was like, I just couldn't figure it the out, man. So, I don't know.
You know, I mean, yeah, and that's hard.
I think
too,
there's I don't know. I'm the bullshit artist that it's like, oh, what'd you get into in college? Yeah, I read a little bit of Kerouac, you know, Beatnik, yeah. Like, I don't want to be that douche, but I do think there's a certain amount that's lost on people just... We've gone through this. That old professor that said showing up is half the battle, is half of life, right? I mean, people fear these parties and these social interactions, but fucking why, man? You know how many times I've ridden the bus and just happened to, you know, was in our episode of Joanne's Rules for Living a Fulfilling Life. Talking to strangers, man. Learning people's stories. I just don't know how that got so lost. People have generally been very nice. In, you know, no matter what neighborhood I've ever been in and no matter what city, if you're, I don't know. And again, I know I'm a straight white male and the patriarchy and all that shit, but I do think there's a bit of a lost art of talking face to face. That's not exactly a hot take. I'm sure there's like a million think pieces on that, but I don't know. I'm terrible online and I just miss. But then again, you know, people who might have a little bit of social anxiety now have a voice and they can influence the conversation in a big way. And the sharing of ideas is obviously important. And it's a tricky, sticky wicket. I don't know, man. You start talking now. I'm lost.
No, I mean, my issue came from, you know, since I was young, I always tried to hang out with people who were like generally very funny. And, you know, in high school, like we were best friends. We were always together. You always kind of had control of the crowd and you were the funny guy, right? I mean, you drove like the conversation and all of our friends were also very funny. And I just felt like I wasn't quite as funny. So I never wanted, like, I was always afraid of saying something that wouldn't be as funny and it would kill like the joke or like kill the vibe or whatever. And I think being around such funny people has just made me doubt how much I can offer a conversation. Like, does that make sense?
Yes, but it's heartbreaking.
But I feel
because that was obviously never the intention.
Well, no, and I'm not trying to say like, Pat, you're the root of my social anxiety because like that's not true at all.
I know you're not saying that. I'm saying like when you and Zach and I are together, there's a comfort there. How did you find comfort in small, intimate settings like that? I mean,
and
because I feel like you're yourself when it's just us three.
right, and it's funny that so like everyone in my work crew is pretty funny, but they think I'm like really funny, and it's weird because
Probably because we're operating at such a high level, man.
you gotta
I'm
be
only
smart
half kidding.
to get
Like,
it, dude.
well, I watched the documentary about what was that? Oh, the magazine National Lampoon before Lorne Michaels came in and stole all their talent and made SNL with those people. And the magazine went out of business because they were all on drugs or whatever. But these brilliant people were just there. And everyone in that room went on to do God knows what. But it was just I don't know. And again, this is why I hate the internet, because someone will lay a David Foster Wallace quote on you like, the only thing everybody has in common is that they think they're so vastly different from each other. Or whatever. You're like, they true are living the lone, unique experience. It's like, that's probably true. But also, is it a sin to think that you and your friends were onto some shit at some point in your life? Like you were onto, like when Kevin and Mark were saying casual and using it in the wrong way. Right. I thought that was fucking groundbreaking. Yeah. I don't know. It's just shit like that you run into certain pockets of life where you just have a good energy about it. And there's good people, and it could be a workplace or a school thing or this or that. I don't know. You were a big part of that for a long time. I'm surprised to hear that you... I don't know. I'm just surprised to hear that you... Because you always seem so... Like you were just whiling, man. To borrow a phrase from the title of my upcoming mixtape, you stepped reckless, man. You were the DC shoe wearing, long hair growing... Let's fucking get after it, dude. And but without drinking alcohol, which I thought was really cool. You were just down to clown, man. You were down to have a good time. And I caught no evidence of any of this.
Hanging out with you and Zach, like, you were my best friends, right? I spent the most time with you guys. So, of course, it was like, even if I did say something really stupid, I wouldn't be, like, embarrassed about it. And be like, well, that was fucking dumb, whatever.
Yeah, after a certain amount of time, you're like, you pass a barrier where you're just like, I don't know. If you talk about the universe and shit enough, if you delve deep enough, then you're past a point of like, you actually care about the person instead of, there's no judgment. I wonder how many conversations it has to take for you to be that close with somebody.
Right. Yeah.
And how often that happens online. Like dudes get catfished and shit.
Well, see, and that's what... I feel like the internet really levels that playing field, but also not that it's anonymous, but I guess personal attacks mean a lot less on the internet because it's the internet, right? Like, I mean, like I said before, I was on like the front page of Reddit for a while, and that thing like blew up on Micro's wall, and people said some of the most fucked up shit about me I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
But
I mean, how many times do you think people last election season said, and you can bleep this appropriately, I hope, throw that in jail about Hillary Clinton?
Right.
And it's just like, okay, political views aside, what, man? like the oh, man.
Right, but like, it's the internet.
And you just wrote a song for Mike Rowe. That's the most like,
yeah.
God, that upsets me.
Yeah, but like, it's the internet, so who fucking cares? Like, I don't take the internet seriously. It's almost like...
But should people?
Well, it depends.
Be a little fucking nicer? Or is it just like, is that what births these pure, if it's good, it'll rise to the top type situations? I don't know.
I think it births those situations as well as just really awful situations. Like, it's... Oh, God. See, the thing is with the internet, you can curate what you want to receive, which is like the good and the bad part of it, because then you have the selection bias. You only hear these super right wing or super left wing stuff, and that's your reality. Like, you create the reality you want to live in, and you can have millions of things sent to you that serve the reality you want to live in, and that can be dangerous.
I just hate that, and I heard this on a local radio station recently. I do hate how it became just about politics because of the Trump-Clinton campaigns. Somebody was talking like, it's some sportscaster locally here in Northeast Ohio. He went on some radio show in Chicago back when the Cubs and Indians were playing for the World Series back in October of last year. So that would have been a month before the election. And he said he got asked while on set, off air during a commercial break, who he was voting for. And he was just like, he was very put off, understandably. Like, first of all, it's none of your fucking business. 2, will it change your view of me? 3, whatever. I think this person was a Hillary supporter, whatever. But I think the point of the story was that the person asking and the person answering were different viewpoints, right?
Right.
And it was just like, it's all anyone could talk about for so long. And I know my parents are still so hung up on it. And everyone should be, whatever. If you believe in something, you should fight for it and talk about it and, keep reading and learning and talking to your friends about certain issues. And, but to another degree, it's like when I go on Reddit, I want to see funny stand-up shots. I want to see funny rage comics. I want to see really good reaction GIFs, quality reaction GIFs, quality where'd the soda go GIFs, which is like people doing shit wrong on the beginning of infomercials. And then, decent news and, whatever is best on the internet that day, like the front page of the internet. But for a while there, it was just so political, and the internet can be so much more than, like proving which side's right. I mean, obviously, it accomplished nothing close to that.
Right, yeah.
I just hate how you see friends and family just, an old teacher at our junior high school told my mom that Hillary Clinton was a cold-hearted bitch or something, or just swore in the work setting when my mom was subbing one day. And I was like, I guess I figured that teacher would have been a supporter of that particular candidate.
Right.
But for that type of anger to go out in a work setting to an old person that was, I'm trying to say as little as possible, but, just like an old teacher type, just wow, that's kind of
right.
I thought you were a funny dude, people, they're all around on both sides. Just people you liked and thought were funny or something. And, last year was a hell of a year.
Yeah.
2016, celebrity deaths and evil resurging or something. It just feels so strange and weird.
I would love to do a part 2 of this because I feel like it's such a big, social media is such a huge part of my life, especially as I'm trying to get more eyes on the podcast network, and I'm trying to learn how to use it professionally. How do I make this shit work for me? How do I draft a tweet that people will want to share? All this kind of stuff. I've really added a whole different layer of what
Sure.
social media really is, other than just I posted a photo the other day. Oh God. So I left my keys in Colorado Springs over the weekend, so I couldn't drive my car, and I was super pissed off about it. And when I was walking through my parking lot to my house, I had to go to the office to get a spare key, yada yada. I saw a guy's car on bricks with the wheels missing, and I thought, dude, maybe there's a lesson out of this, right? It could be worse. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to share that because I think it's kind of funny. It's also kind of a bummer. There's a lot of levels to this.
Right.
And, that's kind of what social media is for me now. I thought I was having a bad day, then I saw this schmuck, right?
Right.
Not quite like that, but,
well, it probably helped a couple of people through the day.
Right.
Oh yeah, my car could be broken.
Right. So
I guess I'm doing okay.
But now I'm trying to figure out how to use it as a professional, and what images will get the most.
Well, let me say
impressions
this. We're getting to the point where we enter the last phase of the show. Usually, I put a lot of questions in our preparation document this week. You want to just build that up, and then we'll do a part 2 next week in terms of the nuts and bolts.
Okay.
And we'll wrap this up. Maybe this was a fluid conversation about kind of the emotion behind some of the certain things, and we'll go nuts and bolts next week, and maybe we'll have some Twitter feedback throughout the week from fans and kind of talk about how they view some of these things and get to the bottom of which behaviors, I don't know. I don't know. There's really no rule book.
So
it's a new.
So you want to save those questions for next week, is what you're saying?
I think based on the timing of, we've covered a lot of ground without using the prompts at all. So we could do a nuts and bolts next week and make it a part 2, like you were saying.
Well, can I ask you one last question about this that might...
Before we go into the favorite songs and stuff?
Yeah, that might kind of be like a teaser for next week. But the question I have for you, when you get on your personal Facebook or Twitter, what are you hoping to get out of it?
I want a good representation of all viewpoints. Let me explain something first. I block everyone that I am annoyed by. There's maybe a rotation of 20 or 30 people that are still in my newsfeed on Facebook. With that said, there's an acquaintance of an acquaintance that might post like there's an old druggie from college that dropped out my freshman year that posts posting posts, which are intentionally bad type. It's a weird meme subculture on Facebook. Yeah. But I want to be in tune with what's happening there just so I can get a sense of... It's my job to know, I guess, right? Zach Polson's brother's wife posts kind of Nightmare Before Christmas type vibes, like kind of messed up horror movie trailers and memes about being kind of against the grain in that sense, kind of not goth, but something I wouldn't normally see on ESPN or something,
Sure, yeah.
So though my rotation is very slim, I try to keep it varied. Justin Novashevsky from Collegiate, he posts some stuff about anime, which I don't really get or know that well, but it's a Reddit nerdity that I think is necessary to at least be aware of, right?
All right.
So, like, there's a lot of close family and friends that I've blocked, but Justin's still there because I think it's a valuable thing to be aware of. And he doesn't annoy me. You know what I mean? So I try to keep at least one person in each sect is something I'll see, right? And then...
okay.
So that's what I want to get out of it. Plus, it helps me for my job. On Twitter, it's a pretty specific set of podcasters and comedians and writers and journalists. So perhaps my world on Twitter is different than other people's, but information travels fast, right? So, I found out about the Marjorie Dale Armstrong thing early this afternoon, and by design, because I follow the guy who wrote the book I like a lot, and Craig Smiley, a very nice sportscaster in Erie who
all right.
Gave me my first internship, actually, after my freshman year of college. He's a great dude, good singer, too. He had tweeted back at some Erie Times news reporter about it, and that's how I found out. Anyhow, what I want to get out of it is just a sampling of everything, kind of like my personal Reddit front page, based on the people I know, right?
Sure.
Because I can't really surf Reddit at work. I guess I could, but it still feels wrong just because I've wasted so many hours on that goddamn website. Plus, you can't log in because there's not suited for work posts like thumbnails that show up when you log in.
Right.
So
right.
That's about it, though.
Okay.
I just want a taste of what's going on.
Okay.
And it's I'm telling you, I've probably blocked, I don't know, too many. But if you friend me and your first post is off in a certain way, you're done. The thing is, I won't even unfriend you. I'll just block you. You'll never know.
Right. Around political season, I just straight up unfriended so many people. Most of my family, to be honest with you.
That's the thing. I kept a couple Trump supporters and a few Bernie Sanders supporters just to get a taste of what was going on, right? And again, it's more for my job than anything, but I don't know if I should say the names, but there were two people from Erie that were big Bernie people. So I knew I could get my Bernie memes from them, the dank memes, melt steel beams type shit. And you get my Trump shit from somewhere else just to see what they were chatting about,
right.
To help. Because I can't just sit up here and I hate on people's bubbles if I create one for myself, right? So Justin Novashevsky, who has turned out to be somewhat of a successful YouTuber from what I can tell. I can't tell.
Nice.
I I can't tell. Don't take these words for granted. But, he blogs and niche things about anime. I don't know what the hell he's talking about half the time, but every once in a while it's something about something I've heard of. And it's like, I don't know. I could stand to learn a lot, so I don't know. I'm rambling at this point about bullshit, so.
No, I mean, I definitely get it. Like, there's one guy that I have on Facebook that's like post the Trump stuff just so I can kind of be informed, but it's found him to be the least offensive, so it kept him around for like the news because I'm not going to go looking out for it myself, and
here's my question.
Yeah.
Does the way you view people in real life affect how much leeway you give them before you block them?
Oh man, so
I'm going to say a hard yes, but I'm interested to hear what you say.
yes. Well, it depends. Like, there's some people that like I was pretty good friends with, and then started seeing some stuff. Boom, gone forever. Most of my mom's side of the family gone forever. And
But
very
you're still friends with them?
no,
Oh, okay.
just unapologetic. I don't, whatever.
Sure.
But there's definitely one dude. Oh, it's been driving me crazy. He was my best friend for many years in college. Went through a lot of shit together. Seemed like anytime I needed some like wisdom, right, I went to him. He was a little bit older, much wiser than I was. I don't know what happened in the past year or two, but it seems like he has lost his goddamn mind. It almost seems like some crazy person has hacked his Facebook and just posts the most ignorant shit ever. And it's been hard for me to like just get rid of the dude, because I know that deep down he's a good guy, but he must just be going through some stuff, man. And just starting fights with everyone, like dumb Facebook fights, and the dude is like, he was like one of the wisest dudes I knew, like back when I was going through a lot of stuff. And I don't know what happened, but so yeah, like things like that. It's kind of like, man, like that's a hard one to just kind of like let go of. And
it's not always easy to swallow.
And even
these are people you knew your whole life, and then they'll say something or share something that is it's just so wrong.
Yeah.
It is fundamentally inhumane, some of these things that are out there. And they're just like, yeah, but you know it. It's like, that might be the most racist thing I've ever seen. Like, God
yeah.
Like, oh, man, I've gone to, whatever. Like you said, in the trenches in college, figuring yourself out. And he was wise, and here he is sharing. Do you think it has anything to do with his military experience?
There's a lot of things at play. I think that if it were nature versus nurture, there were definitely some nurture elements that went into that. I mean,
like his parents?
No, like with military.
Oh, I forgot what nature versus nurture meant real quick.
Nature is like
I'm with you.
how you're born, or like how you
his
are.
surroundings were
Nurture is like how you learn to be.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's all right. I think,
sorry, listeners. Okay. I just had him flipped for a second.
But yeah, I mean, it's just like, it's hard to, I don't know, like I blocked my grandma. I couldn't take myself to just straight up delete her.
Wow.
But yeah, so there's definitely like some hard.
Your own grandma, Tom.
I know. Well, yeah, there's some people that are just like, dude, gone, whatever.
Yeah. Again, take it back to the beginning of the conversation. I just sometimes... Next week, we'll go real fundamental social media discussions.
And possibly not so political. That might be...
Yeah, we kind of went off on a tangent this week, but no, I when did it become a stance to want to have humanity last longer on this earth?
Right.
Like, how much science needs to... people are like, well, people used to think the world was flat. I'm like, off.
People still do.
Right. LA is only going to be LA for like a little while longer. So, like, water will overcome it. Like, I don't know what, like, fracking causes earthquakes in New York and LA are going to be gone like kind of soon. So, like, maybe don't have kids because it might be a weird world to live in at that point. You should listen to podcast fans. If you're listening to us, you've already listened to S-Town by the This American Life / Serial people. But it's very interesting. And that dude, the main dude, the character that they follow around, he has a lot of interesting takes on all that stuff. I thought it very thought-provoking.
All right.
That's not my music recommendation, but I just got reminded that people need to think seriously about what these deadlines mean and how soon some of them are.
Yeah.
Like, well, if these keep melting, then literally your kids will have a different world map. Like a new map, like new sets of maps will have to be made. You know, like how soon, how much, like, would they stop doing certain things if it affected them next week? Like, honestly, how near in the future does bad shit have to happen?
Yeah.
I don't know.
1 like equals 1 prayer, right?
Thoughts and prayers.
What's your highlight of the week?
I went to Cincinnati this past weekend, and Jesse and I day drank and made a meal at her house, and we hung some pictures, and we went for a walk, and we went to a local pub, and we learned a little bit more slowly about Cincinnati, and I just left with just a smile on my face, man. There's something about waking up in bed with her in the morning, and I don't mean that in an innuendo type of way. It's just being around and living with, waking up, knowing we're both going to drink some coffee, watch a Sunday morning news program, and nerd out over news for a minute. And, even though Greyhound buses are surprisingly disgusting, I just had a shitting grin on my face the whole way home. There was something about this past visit she's really happy to be in Ohio, and I think she's finally realizing, she's seeing how green the grass can be without being at that past job I've talked to you about in New Mexico. And she texted me today even just saying, I'm really glad, you take the goggles off and the world's colorful again or something, or it's like the end of Wizard of Oz or something. But
man, that's awesome.
It was, and again, I'm going to keep referencing this one of our past episodes where I sounded totally irreverent about the whole thing. I think I was just tired that day. It was an explosively enjoyable weekend, and it's nice to feel joy.
Yeah. And
take a moment to realize being happy is possible and feels so good, and it was a very important feeling to feel at this juncture. I'm going to stop talking now.
Last week I had a dream that I was working in Cincinnati on a job, and I got there and was like, oh God, Pat's here, and so are Kylie and Kyle. I'm going to give them a call and we can all hang out. And the buttons on my phone just would not work no matter what I did. And then eventually the job was done. I had to go home and we didn't hang out, and it was really sad.
It sounds like a running slow dream.
It kind of was, but not from, someone trying to kill you. I just wanted to hang out with my friends.
Right. Well, usually for me it's just tag, and I'm just losing at tag. It's never like a homicidal situation. I'm just like, I can't run as fast. It's crucial in tag to run fast.
But man, that sounds awesome. That's been a long time coming.
Yeah, and she seems pretty into it.
Good. Awesome.
Because I was worried there because she had the stress of moving, and distance is awful. And I know we're still technically distance, but we're making plans for the summer, and the most we'll be apart is a 2-week span at this point, and we're kind of realizing that. It's like, oh shit, this is nice. And it'll be 3 years, not this weekend, but next. She's going to drive up, and Michael Simon is from Cleveland. And his first restaurant's called Lola. We've been waiting to go to that one and kind of saving it for our 3-year next couple weeks. So,
and how far of a drive is that again?
It's long. It's 4 hours, 4.5.
It's better than a 4-hour flight, though, man.
I'm telling you, this bus ticket was cheap. It was dirty and nasty.
Do they have
the Cleveland bus station? There was like a bird inside. I'm like, oh, a bird made its way in. That's kind of funny. it nosedived for a Pop-Tart. And there were 3 birds behind it. I was like, oh, shit, there's a flock, dude. There's a fucking flock. And it was so... I was going to try to lay down and get some sleep because I didn't go home because my bus ride was so early. I wouldn't have gotten any sleep anyhow. And I was like, no, I'm not going to lay at all because these birds might peck my god corneas out.
Remind me to tell you next week about my Greyhound experience from D.C. to Erie, Pennsylvania. Or no, actually,
you don't want to do it
opposite, now? Erie to D.C. It was... Well, you'll hear.
Okay. We'll put it in the notes. What was your highlight of the week?
Not quite as amazing as yours, but just...
Well, mine have been underwhelming, so this was I was due. If I do say so myself.
I think mine was just waking up at 4, getting that text saying, see you guys tomorrow, work is canceled, and just sleeping until 11:30. Like, I took my dog out at 8, whatever, but I needed it, man.
Sometimes it can be as simple as that. You needed rest, and the universe provided you a day to just rest. It can be as simple as that. It doesn't have to be a life-changing bullshit.
And there were so many things I needed to get caught up on that I just haven't been able to, and I did all super fast. I watched 2 movies, loved one of them, played Zelda for a long time.
What were the movies?
I watched Arrival, the movie about like the aliens.
Oh shit! That movie is the dopeness.
So
I love that movie.
Good, man.
Oh my god! Can we just do an episode on Arrival and how it should have won all the Oscars?
Let me watch it again. I actually bought it on iTunes.
It is the message of peace.
Oh,
it's just, I feel like it's just an. I'm gonna get emotional. It's just an important movie, man. It's just really fucking important. Like communication.
If you were a lazy Facebooker, you would post the trailer to the video and just say this is important, which is one of my pet peeves. But I kind of just got to chill. I made breakfast. Stayed inside most of the day, which is great. I was drying up my shipping container house.
Oh, nice.
Studio.
I want to visit that someday.
Huh?
How much is a shipping container? I want to visit I want to be the guest that stays in your guest container.
I saw that someone was like putting a bid on like 4 of them for $5,500, which is, I mean, God, dude, I want.
Yeah, that's not even bad.
I want 4, so perfect. I heard they're about $2,000 each, though.
Plus, you'd probably have to rent a crane to lift them on top of each other.
Yeah, it would end up costing quite a bit, but but yeah. So anyway, great day, relaxing. I'm so refreshed. I don't even like want to go to bed, and it's like 11:30 my time right now. I have to be up in 4 hours.
Yeah, that narrative will change quick.
Right. What's your you want to revisit last week's songs and go into this week's?
John.
Yeah, you gave me a girl and a band that was voiced by a guy. Do you remember what they were?
What?
There was a girl who was like, I like you, or I
want you.
Yeah, I want you. It was like a tapping of a coffee mug or something was the beat. Do you remember what that was?
It was Marian Hill, but I have no idea what it sounded like cartoon lobster claws to me.
Okay, yeah, whatever. I was thinking of the Postal Service song.
Oh, right.
Tap coffee mugs, but it was reminded me of that because it was an unconventional percussion. But I thought that was a lovely song, and for whatever reason, the band you gave me, I just didn't like his voice or something. Maybe a different song would have suited me better.
I don't remember that. What?
It's in my notebook in the other room, and I don't want to run out and get it.
Because I only put. Oh, was it The Dangerous Summer?
No, it was.
Was it Rookie of the Year?
Something about falling on ears or ears something.
Oh, Trigger Warning. Okay, that was Air Combat.
Yeah.
That was like 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I caught up on them. I didn't like Air Combat very much, but this the girl singer, that was quite nice.
Marian Hill. Did you watch the music?
So Julian Baker is more talented, I think, but it's sad as shit, and it was really nice to hear like something happy.
Right.
And I just wanted to say now that I thank you for that. Like,
did you watch the music video?
No.
You have to.
All right, I will.
It's amazing.
Okay, fine. I'm glad we agree.
I listened to Chance the Rapper. I think the last
Which song?
Sunday Candy.
Oh, yeah.
Not for me. I don't remember anything about it, but I just remember not really digging it.
Even with the music video?
I don't remember it, to be honest with you.
It's like a high school play, and it's like they move the set pieces around, and there's dancing and coordination, and it's all... No, I thought you would like that one, even though it was rap.
I need to rewatch that. I mean, I don't like... Here's the thing. I like old school hip-hop. I am not...
It's just a piano and a couple people singing, and there's nothing really... like I guess OG about it.
I guess I'll have to revisit it. But I remember being
it's just him. Like basically, it's him talking to a girl. Like, you smell like light, gas, water, electricity, rent. Like he's talking about how she's like, his Sunday candy. He goes to church, he comes home, works, put in the hard day. I don't know. It's and the music video is like a high school play. I figured you would have liked it, but that's okay.
Oh, I'll revisit it.
No, you don't have to. I just happen to like it. But I do have this week's recommendation, and I've been listening to a lot of new music to prep for these recommendations, and I don't want to wait for next week for a couple of them, but I'll start with these just because, well, here we are. The band is called Nerf Herder.
Okay.
Like Han Solo talking smack to somebody in Star Wars. I don't fucking know. They're a nerd band, I've come to learn. So I came across this song because Spotify recommendations, they have a song called We Opened for Weezer. And the band sings about how they opened for Weezer in 97 when Pinkerton had come out and it was getting reviews and they had their hit. That was their music video was on MTV2. And then I looked up that hit and it was called Van Halen by Nerf Herder. And it's just basically, the lead singer sings about how he got Van Halen albums and eventually Sammy Hagar's I Can't Drive 55 hit pisses him off and he never wants to listen to him again or something. But the song starts off like, I bought Van Halen 1. It was the best record I ever bought. Anyway, he ends up hating Van Halen. It's not important. But they're just like this nerd band that does like kind of fan fiction songs. It's really strange, but it's catchy. And I want you to listen to Van Halen by Nerf Herder and We Open for Weezer by Nerf Herder because it kind of comes full circle with the way the outros in the songs are. You got to know a little bit about Van Halen to kind of get the first one, I guess.
Ooh, I won't get it.
Do you remember Mrs. Bars, our middle school music teacher, who would play Jump by Van Halen?
Didn't have her.
Might as well jump. Dun, dun,
right.
Dun, 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 dun. You've heard that song, right?
Yeah.
All you got to know is that Van Halen sings that song, and you will totally get these two songs.
Okay.
I just want to know your take on it. I don't even really want to know if you like them or not. I just am very curious.
Okay. All right. Well, then for this week, since you gave me two, I wanted to give you two, but now I can justify it. You said you hadn't listened to Rookie of the Year, so I'm going to give you two songs. The opening song off of the 2006 record, The Goodnight Moon, is called Poison Like Your Own, and that's the song that I'm apparently going to be singing on stage.
Ooh. I almost listened to Goodnight Moon. I think I might have listened to that song because I wrote down Rookie of the Year last year, and I tried to guesstimate which record would have come out while we were in high school.
Right.
I'll go back and listen again, but it's definitely on. I'll do it for sure.
Okay, yeah, Poison Like Your Own, which he picked the perfect song for me to sing. It's the highest energy, perfectly in my range. I'm considering if I should stage dive on the last chorus or not. I don't want to do it, and whatever. We'll see.
I can't wait to hear whether you did or not. Well, plus he's a showman. He's a professional performer. He's not going to ask you to do something that's not in your wheelhouse,
Right. I try to
like
talk
when Taylor Swift invites, I don't know, whoever the on stage. Like if she invites Kobe Bryant on stage for her Red Tour in California, she's just going to have him wave and maybe dribble a basketball. She's not going to have him sing fucking, I don't know.
Right.
She's not going to be like, hey, Ed Sheeran, I'm going to do that duet with Kobe tonight. That's just not how that shit's going to play out. Show business.
Yeah. So that song is what I'm singing. I love it. But my favorite song of theirs is Liars and Battlelines.
Okay.
which is also on that record. It's like their biggest hit.
Cool.
So yeah, that's what I got for you this week.
I have already looked it up on Spotify, and now that I know where to find it, it's in my memory head. So I will listen to it and get back to you.
Cool beans. Those songs will be in the show notes. You can find them at elemental.fm/reminiscent/21. You can find all the past show notes as well as anything from Astra, which is our other show on the network on space policy and technology with Jack and Newton.
Jack's a good guy. Newton, I don't know about Newton.
They're both great guys.
I guess I'll take your word for it.
And yeah, so I'm in the process of revamping the blog, which I haven't touched, and the editorial, which will have some new stuff on it. If you check that out,
I wrote some stuff.
www.elemental.fm. I do have your things, which I totally forgot about until just now. Should have done that today. I will do it tomorrow.
No worries.
No.
They're not exactly time sensitive.
But they're great. They're amazing. And I am going to try to make another 3 cents off of advertising on those babies. And I'll give you I'll give you 2 cents. I'll keep one.
People should say yay yay.
Yay.
It's a lost art.
Reminds me of oh no, that was steak night.
Steak night. We're gonna do it right.
It is the
I love Scrubs. I love Scrubs.
God, going back to last week, speaking of shows that should have ended a season earlier.
Well, yeah, and I've rewatched it so much I can't even get into it. Even now, it's kind of sad. I've rewatched it from start to finish 4 times, and then there have been 2 half restarts. So it's possible. I'm getting there with Parks and Rec and Office. One of these next 2 times, I'm not going to appreciate them as much, and it's just a sad thing. I've been watching Black Mirror, though.
Oh.
It's like a modern Twilight Zone. That shit is crazy, and it's good, but it's scary, but I like it.
Man, I was just watching an episode. I watched it twice on Sunday, though. Oh, man, that's pretty good.
Did you see the John Hamm White Christmas episode?
Yeah. I didn't think it was as amazing as everyone said it was.
I just like John Hamm, and I thought it was real good.
Definitely.
The one where they you can record all your memories in your eyes, and the guy finds out his wife's cheating after.
Whoa, hold on. I haven't seen that one yet.
Well, you don't know what I'm talking about, so whatever. And we don't have that technology yet, so you'll forget this.
There's like 2 episodes.
Did you see the one with the bees?
Oh, that was maybe one of my favorite ones.
That blew my fucking mind.
Was that Death 2, right?
I don't know. It was just, they were like, there's no way anyone can hack these bees. Oh, shit. They did, and they're killing people! Like,
well,
it was awesome.
That's enough of the spoilers, and that's probably enough for this week.
P.S. Spoiler alert, everybody. The bees murder. All right, let's end this thing up. You know I love you.
I love you too, man.
Goodbye, everybody. Thanks for following us on Twitter and listening, and yeah, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Ba 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 ba.